Hi Moonbeams, it's Nikki T here at Moonchild Tarot with a tag for you today. This tag is the Tarot Curiosities tag and it was created by Nicole, a cottage witch. So without further ado, let's get started. So the first question is my favourite purple deck. This was a bit of a struggle because nothing really stood out that was kind of really inherently purple. In terms of I've seen some beautiful like purple gilding on some and everything, but I've picked a mass market and a indie for this. So the first one is my mass market. And this is my, oh, I've put a pen in there for some reason. This is my bone stone and earth flesh. So as you can see, I have edged it myself in this lilac. Now, this card shows it up. The beautiful purple hues. This has got a very purple kind of blue kind of energy. I went through, I think on one of my videos, and took out all the cards that didn't have purple or blue in, and there weren't very many. So these beautiful purple hues, this is what I think about when I think of a purple deck. So there aren't many cards where it doesn't have some sort of tinge of blue or purple or indigo, things like that. So as you know, I love Anatorian's artwork. This is just absolutely stunning, as we would say up north. And yeah, just the watercoloriness of it all. Yeah, it is a very purple moody deck, which I really love, and as with a lot of my decks, I don't get to use as much, so I do need to. Yeah, maybe I set up a readings channel so I can just use all my decks up. I don't know, but yeah, so this is the bone stone and earth flesh. And this is for my purple, like, look at that, my purple deck. The next one is my indie. I do have very few indies. I have probably 2 or 3, just because of finances and things like that, not being able to afford them. This is my Shadows We Cast. This was out of the last little bit of savings money I had. And not all of them, but this gives me, like, the backs are this purple, and cards like this, it kind of has that purple blue kind of tinge to it. As I said, not all the cards are purple, but when I thought of a purple deck, I thought of this one for the kind of indie choice, like cards like that are beautiful. So there is more purple, I would say, in this deck than there is kind of purple or blue than any other real colour. It's very cosmic. I use this for moon readings, so yeah, I get purple vibes when I see this deck, and it is like, look at that. I am now kind of bonded with it, and I am really pleased. I got it at first, I got it and I thought, oh, have I just got into the hype? But the hype is real with this one. So yeah, so this is the Shadows We Cast, and this is my second purple. Look at that. Wow. This is my second purple deck that I own. Apologies if you could hear like a low droning noise in the background. I forgot to switch my dehumidifier off. Yeah, if you're in a humid country, you'll kind of know. So the next prompt on the tag is a deck for rainy days. Now, I said this in my July kind of wrap up video and bringing into August. I am literally done with summer. So I thought I would take it into kind of, I would honour my darker spooky girl vibes, and I would kind of think about what I would pick for a day when I'm cozied up, when it's kind of dark out and there's rain and the weather is whirling. You know, we have a lot of wind up where we are because we're on the like hills, and we just, you know, our house gets battered by the wind. So for that tag, I picked my good old Gothic tarot. I do need to edge this. I'm a bit scared to edge this because I think this is now out of print. I do need to look, but I love this deck. This was my first real kind of Gothic inspired deck that I bought, and immediately I just loved reading with it. So this is my kind of October, November, cooled up, when the weather is absolutely miserable, it's dark, and I want to embrace the kind of descent of it all. I love this. I love the colours and everything, and it's just magnificent. It does really feed my kind of inner teen. I think my inner child is Labyrinth, you know, my Labyrinth deck. My inner child is my Labyrinth deck, and these decks are my kind of inner teen. 90s, grew up on Interview with a Vampire, which I'm actually listening to at the moment on audiobook. Yeah, I love it. I just think, you know, for me, embracing a rainy day or being in a kind of rainy day mood is embracing that kind of darkness and seeing the beauty in the darkness, seeing the beauty in, you know what I mean? Like, life is not all sunshine, rainbows and lollipops. So I kind of like to embrace that, the darker half, you know, especially when the weather is, I'm very much influenced by the weather in that I love going out in a good storm. I used to live near the sea, and I would go out in the middle of the night in a storm and just absolutely like lap it up. I loved it. So it's kind of, for me, rainy days is embracing it, embracing that kind of the turbulence and the darkness in the shadow and things like that. And this is my first like real Gothic inspired deck that I got. I mean, look at that Emperor. I love that Emperor card. So yeah, I didn't want to turn this into a full flip through, but it is such a great deck. So this is the Gothic Tarot by Joseph Fargo, and the next prompt in the tag follows a very similar kind of vein to this. Now, the next prompt is a deck that loves the mud. Now, when I first kind of thought about this, I thought about my gutter brain. I permanently live in the gutter. My gutter brain was like getting down and dirty, like, you know, that very carnal, very kind of, you know, in the mud, in the ground, kind of animalistic kind of vibes. So I've got one deck that's down and dirty, you know, in the words of Christina Aguilera, you know, we got to get dirty. And the other one I kind of picked for the kind of practical earthy kind of element. So the first one, the Down and Dirty deck, again, influenced very heavily by my inner teen, is my tarot of vampires, my vampires tarot. I do need to add, I have got a pen for it somewhere. I need to add like a clue, because obviously this is in Spanish, as to which is which. Again, have to be careful with this deck because, you know, chesticles be out, chesticles be waving around, like they just don't care. You know, YouTube doesn't really like showing, you know, melons on screen, or as I like to call them, frontal bakewell tarts. Yeah, but I just loved it. It is for me so kind of an era of the kind of 90s kind of gothic inspired. Yeah, it's a deck for me that really loves digging into relationships and really loves, like, it doesn't just tell you about the relationship, it blooming digs deep. It really, like, gets down. It loves to do about relationships and kind of really complex kind of situations. That's what it likes reading on. I don't think this is really a card of the day pull, although I am going to do that in October, definitely. But this likes being in a big full spread and really getting down to the brass tacks of it all. And I'm so pleased that I managed to get this Spanish version, because, as you know, very famously, I lost out on, you know, as it went out of print, I could get a copy at mass market prices that just didn't have a box. And famously, my hubby advised me wrong and I ended up losing out on it. So next time I see a deck that is going out of print and I think, oh, I might buy that, I'm going to buy it straight away, because, you know, that's one of the lessons that Tarot Tube has taught me is, you know, if it's going out of print, if there's a doubt, snap it up. But I have this one and this is bigger, and I do like, you know, you can see the artwork a lot clearer, and it's not hard to work out the Spanish kind of titles and things like that. But I just read it sometimes intuitively and just go with what I'm seeing rather than, you know, and this is my favourite Hanged Man of them all. I just think this is just the mind of somebody to kind of come up with a Hanged Man like that. I applaud it. I love it. So yeah, I am very much done with the summer. Although I'm going away soon, the summer can kind of, you know, now gently start moving into autumn, because I am definitely ready to get all of these gothy decks out, all of these darker decks, you know, get playing, because my inner teen, you know, I would have loved to be all dressed like this. My inner teen is demanding it. So this is the Vampire Tarot by Ian Daniels. I do have another Vampires deck as well, which I've used quite recently, and again, that likes getting kind of down and into it. Anyway, the next deck that I've picked because it is very practical. So I was thinking, well, earth, you know, the mud, earth, kind of, I'm a Capricorn, I'm very practical, I'm very kind of, I would like to say I'm very grounded and down to earth. So I picked the deck that I thought is the most kind of very practical, like straight to the point. I would, you know what I mean, gives you it and kind of gives you practical advice. And this is the Trionfi della Luna by Patrick Valenza. And again, it's got that kind of rich sepia, kind of looks like it's been in the mud a little bit. It looks like it's been dirtied. And this deck really is straight to the point. It'll give you the point. It'll tell you what to do. It won't kind of mince its words. It can be very kind of, you know, it's very grounded and earthy, but with a little bit of swords within it. But I do think, again, you know, it's kind of like that sepia. It looks like it has been in the mud. I love Patrick Valenza's artwork. And yeah, I love reading with this. I love reading with this so much that I got the this is the illustrated pip, so this is the mass market. I also got the rainbow one, which is not illustrated pips, it's just pips, because I loved this deck so much. So yeah, I love my Trionfi. I love Patrick Valenza's work. I much prefer this kind of style of Patrick Valenza's work compared to some of the other stuff. I like his kind of artwork as opposed to the ones where it's pictures and things like that. Although I wouldn't turn down any Patrick Valenza deck. I have to be careful with, obviously, shipping it and getting it over to me is a logistical pain, and money and things like that. You know what I mean? I have to wait till Christmas to kind of get big purchases where I'll go and get them from further afield, from abroad. But yeah, so this is my practical, down to earth deck. Never let me down for that. The next deck is my Fiercest Deck, and I've gone for Patrick Valenza again. This is my Deviant Moon, and it's kind of, the artwork is a little bit, it's not to everyone's taste. It's a little bit fierce. But as well as a reader, this doesn't pull any punches. Like, it literally will dig right in. It's like pouring salt into a kind of wound. It will really get in, and it will, for its own, for, you know, your own benefit, it will really get in deep and kind of get to the core of the problem. So I love that for this. I do have another deck that I have that is really also kind of quite fierce and blunt and everything, but I can't show that one on my channel. There is a reason. And once I have the ability to purchase the real one, read between the lines, I will be showing that, definitely be showing that on my channel. But it's a wait till Christmas. It just packs a punch. It really lets you see things in a different way, and it's really like, you know, that Three of Swords, and it's almost like the damsel, the playing the victim, the kind of, yeah, but you've got the three legs there, and, you know, three legs is kind of quite stable. Like, if you knocked one of them, yes, you know, if you think of it, when I'm saying three legs, I'm saying there was a book that I read about a three-legged stool, and it's about mental health and how there was three things that kind of linked together, and if you took one of them out, the whole stool would fall. I can't remember what book it was. I will try and find it and flash it on the screen or something. But yeah, so this kind of, you are stable, you are in a stable position, sometimes, you know, mentally in our head, we keep creating ourselves as the victim. Yeah, it really, really does, like, make you think and make you really kind of dig deep with it. And like, even that, the Eight of Swords, like falling on your sword, it is such a good deck. And again, I feel like I'm neglecting my decks because I never get a chance to read with them all as much. So that's why I'm gonna now start moving some along and concentrating on the ones that I kind of have and I can spend the time with, because I think, yeah, having loads of decks is great, but I get very, very guilty that I've not used them. Ultimately, I'm a Capricorn. I am very practical. So if a deck can't be used, then I get, apart from, I've got one deck which is my Shakespeare Tarot, which I probably won't use because I'm hanging that on as a collector's item. But apart from that, I want to use the decks. I want to, you know, rough them up and get some kind of energy into them and everything like that. So yeah, I will be moving a few on, as I said, most of these mass mats. So this is my Fiercest Tarot deck. I will show you what my Fiercest Oracle deck is. Not everyone is all about the tarot, so I thought I'd put an oracle in. This is my Deep, Dark and Dangerous Oracle. Again, I mix this in, and it might not look very it might not look like it's a match, but it is a match in terms of the energy. I do really, really think it works. They talk to each other very, very kind of well. Like Seven of Swords and then Acceptance. Wow. Yeah. The Underworld and the Seven of Cups. Oh, it does talk. They do talk to each other very, very kind of intuitively, and I get a lot from pairing these two together. They do have like a similar kind of color palette, but apart from that and the energy, it's about going deep, going, you know, into the darkness and everything. So I really love pairing the Deviant Moon and the Deep, Dark and Dangerous. So this is the walking through. The artwork is just so stunning, and the guidebook is really like clear and good. I want to spend more time with this. I will spend more time with this when it gets kind of, when the darkness descends at the moment. But the way I'm feeling, even if it's sunny outside, I'm going to be using these dark decks because that's just the way. And this is my favourite card. Can you tell? It's my favourite card. I like vampires. Yes. I wanted to do a really bad, I'm a vampire, a really bad accent there. Yeah, I love this, and like just the peeking and everything. It's very nice, a very nice deck, very good. So let's move on. Next up is a deck to brighten your day, and I am continuing with my spooky theme, and I have picked the Zombie Tarot. So I love the humour in this deck. It has got that kind of dark sense of humour that really does brighten my day, like the Ace of Swords, and he's got it, and then the zombies kind of got it and lost, you know, little details like that. And it's got For the Zombie Hunter. Like, it just really, really tickles. It tickles me. I like that. Six of Cups, and he's, we used to be childhood friends. You know what I mean? That gives me kind of, if you've seen Shaun of the Dead, it's giving me Shaun of the Dead vibes. Definitely this deck is like Shaun of the Dead. I'm not a fan of zombie movies, but I like zombie movies that have got a bit of humour. So Zombieland, Shaun of the Dead, kind of zombie films like that, I really, really do enjoy. I don't like your kind of serious zombie films, because zombies, even The Last of Us as well, like, and I didn't watch The Walking Dead, but I watched The Last of Us. There's just something really creepy about that it could actually happen. And I think that's why I'm like, vampires is, I can watch vampire movies all the time and be like, oh, I'm okay with that. But I think because zombies could, it's something that scientifically could actually happen, it kind of gets me like, oh, the Two of Cups and she's enjoying a meal and he's having brains. Like, there's so much humour and there's so much like sarcasm. Like, I love this devil card, like, as somebody who used to purchase things out of these machines, and they were bloody expensive. I don't now. I don't smoke now, but I can get it. I get it. That addiction, that feeling. The night of, like the Page of Wands, like, how cute but funny is that? It's just, yeah, it's got such a sense of humour. And like that Wheel of Fortune. It's got such a sense of humour that I really appreciate. And I like this kind of, tongue-in-cheek, kind of dark, sarcastic edge to it. I am like quite a kind of sarky person at heart. When I can be. I can't tell sarcasm from other people, but I kind of live in this very trickstery mind, in terms of my humour, in terms of the way I see things, not in terms of the way I act. But yeah, like the Four of Cups, and she's like, oh, I can't get up, I'm stuck here. Like, yeah, it brightens my day. It kind of sings to my odd little heart, and yeah, I love it. And it is a great deck. So this is the Zombie Tarot, and this is the one that will brighten my day. The next one is a deck for anxious thoughts and overwhelm. And I nearly brought this out for my Brighten My Day deck because it is the Kawaii Tarot. This is kind of the only cutesy deck that I really have. I don't tend to go for kind of cutesy, cartoony, kind of that kind of vibe. But this one, I make an exception. I bought this thinking this would be an inner child deck. It wasn't. My Labyrinth deck is my inner child deck, since that's my childhood film growing up. This is so good when you are so overwhelmed. You don't want a deep you don't want a deep message, but you just want a little bit of guidance. And I think when I was very overwhelmed in June, I really gravitated towards this deck. I think this is such a gentle reader, but it's so pertinent. It's got so many hidden details within it, within the artwork. It's just, when you're overwhelmed, and when I find that I'm overwhelmed and that I'm anxious, I don't want to go deep into it. I haven't got the emotional capacity to really go deep into things, because that will trigger me, that would push me even further over the edge. So I find something very kind of cute like this is the best medicine to go. And I know Mystic Man loves this deck and calls this the Squishmallow deck. So I do think this is when you're anxious, when you're overwhelmed, when you're a kid, you just want to sit and cuddle your teddy and you know, cuddle the squishmallow. And I think that does this in deck form. You know, it is so cute. It is very cute and sweet and nice, but it also does read really, really well. So I definitely will turn to this when my head is a bit mashed, a bit like today because I'm feeling a bit mashed. There's a lot been going on. I would turn to a deck like this. I sometimes just want cute, sweet, colourful, cheerful, you know, and this is my favourite Eight of Swords ever, because just the cat is just like, he's enjoying his time. He's enjoying his time in this beautiful, like on the flowers and the eight swords around, and he could get out if he wants, but he doesn't want to. That just, it's such a good way of kind of explaining the cards. And I think this is a really kind of, again, a good deck for like maybe when my daughter's a bit older, if she wants to kind of read cards, to use something like this to read from. So this is the Kawaii Tarot, and I'm thinking of edging this in pink because I think pink and blue go really well together. Like I'm trying to think of a pink, like a Barbie kind of baby pink rather than like a hot pink. That would go really well. Another deck that will, oh, I forgot a deck that will brighten my day. I did pick a cutesy deck for the Brighten My Day tag as well as the zombie tag. This is the Halloween Tarot in a tin. And I think mainly because this is a deck that you're only going to really, I only really ever use this come September onwards. But it's so cute. It's so stinking cute. It's so sweet. I love reading with this. It's a perfect size. It's the perfect little, it's Halloween-y, but without being too kind of saccharine, you know what I mean? Like too sweet. It's sweet without being too sweet. And I just really, really like it. I really like this deck. It's a really good reader. It's really cheeky. It's got a really cheeky energy, but it's got that childish kind of nature to it as well. I love that Emperor. Good old Frankie. I don't love Frankenstein because it's a book where, you know, it shows the terrors of humanity and everything like that. But I have a soft spot for Frankenstein because I studied the play so much with my kids, with the students I taught. And when the Netflix program came out with, oh, what's his name? The guy that played Moon Knight, Oscar Isaac. I literally hated it. It's a beautifully put together film, but I really hated the way that they almost glamorized Dr. Frankenstein in it. And you know what I mean? Yeah, anyway, because he was, I'm going to say this, you know, Dr. Frankenstein, you know, he was the villain. I'm going to say that. He was the villain. I'm getting in my head like, am I the villain? I don't think I'm the villain. You know, am I the drama? I don't think I'm the drama. You know, comment down below if you know where that's from. Yeah. But I just love it. It's so cute. It's so sweet. It's just like such a nice deck to read with come September, October. But then, you know, when it comes into November, I kind of put this away for another year. Yeah, it's very much of your time, but it does brighten those kind of dark September, October kind of days there. So that is the Halloween Tarot in a Tin by Kipling West. It's a US Games. Now, the next deck is a deck to help you out of a creative slump. So that is going to be, I am going to pick the deck that I kind of pick for most tags. A deck that is forever, I think, my soul deck. But I don't know, because there's a lot of decks now coming in. I really struggled with this bit of the tag with, you know, a deck that helps you out of a creative slump, because I find that if I'm in a creative slump, I will do something else. Like, if I'm in a creative slump, I will go and crochet something mindfully, like something that I don't have to think about. If I'm in a creative kind of surge, I will not do things like that. So I struggled with this prompt about a deck that would help you out of a creative slump. But I just thought, what's the deck that does everything? And for me, it's the Tarot of the Abyss. I could just come back to it. It's like putting a comfy pair of slippers on. I will go back time and time again and I will read this. I've read with it so much that I just think it is so comfy. It's so kind of nurturing. I do need to use this, and I think I'll be using this when it does get darker, kind of November, December time, because I do need to give some love to my Tarot of the Abyss. I do think I probably should buy a backup, because if I lost this deck, if I lost all of my decks, this would be the one that I would just have and keep reading with. I think it's just, for me, it is chef's kiss. And yeah, I talked about, do I do a challenge of doing 30 days with just reading with one deck? Because I think that, you know, we have lots and lots of choice. As you can see, it's been well used. We have lots of choice here. We can move from deck to deck and we can get them different perspectives. But kind of thinking back to when I started with tarot 20 years ago, most people had one or two decks and they would just read with that. And I think maybe, you know, maybe we do have a challenge where we just read with one deck for a month and see how that kind of what we notice, because I think we've got that much choice, we don't commit to things anymore. Like, it's the same with TV programs. Like, we have so much choice in what to watch. It's really difficult knowing what you want to watch. You get that kind of decision paralysis. And, you know, it's like analysis paralysis. There's so many options, you can't make a choice. And I think maybe going back, you know, going back to the 90s, going back to that kind of, well, it was the early 2000s, but going back to kind of that time might teach us about our attention span, about what we're like, about our habits and things like that. So yeah, this is a deck that will always help me out of a creative slump. It will always help me whenever I want a reading. Any reading I can do with this, and I just love it. So this is the Tarot of the Abyss, and it's probably like, you know, every video, how many times can Nikki mention that this is my soul deck? The next one is my Witchiest Deck. Oh, and I've just knocked a deck all over the floor. I'm not going to move my chair. I'm going to gently twizz around and try and thingy the cards, but I will leave you with the Witchiest Deck. So when I was picking my Witchiest Deck, I have got quite a few witchy oracles. I'm going to use an oracle as well, but this, I've got to say, is my witchy kind of what it's not it's not out and out witchy in terms of aesthetic or anything like that, but this is the Agatha All Along tarot. You know, it's witchy. She's a witch. She goes down the road, down the road, down the witch's road. And I've been reading with it this month, and I really love it. I love that the artwork kind of pays kind of homage to Pixie's like artwork, and the kind of, you know, it feels like somebody has really paid homage to, you know, Pixie's artwork in this and then modernized it. Yeah, like that page of wands, like, yeah, it pays homage to it, and it's its own creature as well. Because for pop culture decks, I think this is the best pop culture deck. Now, people might come at me, people might say there's other ones. I love my Labyrinth Tarot, but my Labyrinth Tarot is a pip deck. It made it harder to read from. I love it now because I can just, you know, I read kind of more intuitively with it. I think this has honoured the source material really well. It's really honoured the source material, and it explains it in the guidebook, which I think is such a, you know, a key to it. And it goes in it follows Pixie's artwork in terms of it follows it in terms of how you see it, but it goes in its own direction. It has its own voice, and I really enjoy reading with it. Like this Nine of Cups, like usually the Nine of Cups is you're happy, you've got all them cups behind you, you're chuffed, you know what I mean? Yes, they're getting out of the situation, but a lot of these cups are spilt. Like it just goes into a different direction while still honouring the source. I mean, look at that. Like, still honouring the source material. And I do need to get the guidebook out because I want to spend some time reading the guidebook. I am going to be watching this again soon, and kind of enjoying the witchiness of it all. So this is the Agatha All Along tarot. I do think the cardstock's a bit cardboardy. It's a bit hard to shuffle at times. It's not like your thin kind of bendy cardstock. It's, you know, if you ding this, it's going to stay there. But I really do enjoy it, and I'm so glad I'm using it this month. And I have been pairing it with the next witchy deck that I'm going to mention, so I'm going to leave that there. And this is the Magic of You Oracle, which is by Fiona Horn. So, oh, like that just goes, I feel like really goes well. Be still and listen to the spirits with the moon. Like, they just talk to each other. Compassion for others, Seven of Cups. Ooh, like the Seven of Pentacles, cultivate love. Like, it really, the messages really talk to each other quite well. And I really like it. I'm so pleased that I got it, and I kind of wish I had this sooner. I feel like this artwork just speaks to me. Yeah, and I just see it's the beauty in the darkness kind of vibe. So yeah, I will move this away. Oh, I think the council are out again with their wind blowers or their strimmers, because I can hear them. Yeah, so this is such a just scrumptious deck. I love it. It's just so scrummy, and I can't wait to just sit and work with the depth that's here, and, you know, all the layers, and and stuff like that, reading the guidebook, getting to know it. And yeah, I got this on Vinted, and I got the Dark Mirror. Oh, I'm knocking all my books. I got the Dark Mirror Oracle, which is by Fiona Horn as well. I'm using that this month as well with the Somnia, and it's just perfect. It's just absolutely perfect. So I think I'm starting to descend into my witchy content at the moment. Hopefully you cannot hear the guy strumming in the background. I can hear it, and it's distracting me. The next prompt is the most inventive guidebook, and I've picked the Bonefire. Now, I could have picked the Llewellyn, because I think that's a really good guidebook, because it digs for the mages. It digs into, you know, the lore of the characters. So I definitely recommend the Llewellyn guidebook as well. It's here because I've got it out this month. I'm using it because the reprint has come out. A lot of people are saying that they don't like the new version. So yeah, it tells you all about, it gives you so much. So I think this guidebook is really, really good. But I thought for me, this is the most useful guidebook, I think, because it has a glossary, and this was one of the reasons why. Glossary of Bonefire symbols. So everything that she's put in her deck, you can just go, oh, baby, parenthood, dependence, responsibilities, family. You don't have to read the, you know, it's great. You've got a great, you know, what the Bonefire says. I love the way she's written it. It's got the symbols there, like the red roses, the sunflower, the yin and yang. It is a really kind of, you know, detailed write-up, but at the back you've got, you know, you've got the spreads, but also you've got your A to Z. So you just really take these, and this is so helpful for anybody who is like new to tarot or learning how to kind of read tarot. The Bonefire is a bit of a busy deck, but this guidebook is so good because it's just got, you know, blindfold, trusting your intuition, removing blinders. Like that will apply to most eight of swords or two of swords cards. Like you can use this deck, and I think it'd be interesting if, you know, a book could have just a big glossary of what each symbol means kind of within a card, and have like a big thick glossary of like what does a brain mean, or what does you know, what do the symbolism of it all, like a bell, what does a bell mean? It's because I'm looking at a bell. That would really help people be able to pick up any deck and read with it, and not have to, you know what I mean? So I'm all for having a cheat code. You know, my son's playing an old 90s video game, and he's going, Mum, can I look at my phone and look for the secrets? And I'm like, no, because that's not the point. You've got to learn how to do it. But I do actually, when it comes to my tarot, I love a good cheat code. I love a good kind of way to kind of not cheat it, but something that's really, really practical, because my dyslexic brain struggles with big chunks of text. You know, it's white, it's, you know, white background. My eyes kind of go a bit blurry, and I really, really struggle with this. This is why I read a lot of my books on quite a few of my tarot books I read on Kindle, so I can change the screen to blur to green. I have it in green because I love green. And I can make the text, like here, I can make the text as big or as small as I want. But I think this is such, you know, I kind of bought this for the guidebook more than buying the actual cards, if that makes sense. And I really, really enjoyed it. Now, the next question, so the penultimate question, is your fave book, and I've got to try and find it, your fave book that goes beyond the tarot. Now, a lot of the books that I'm currently, or have currently read, really kind of don't go beyond the tarot. Because I would say 21 Ways to Read a Tarot Card is a really, really good book, but I don't think it kind of goes beyond the how to read tarot. It is a really, really good book that I would recommend because it does cover everything. And I think when I'm reading it, I'm agreeing and I'm going, oh, well, I do that anyway. So, you know what I mean? It's not giving me something new, but it's really reminding me that I'm kind of already reading the way that they're saying anyway. So when I was thinking about this was a hard one, but I have picked The Neuroscience of Tarot. I've got to caveat this with, I haven't read this yet, but I'm so desperate to read it. I just think this will go beyond, because it's about how your brain works when reading tarot, if that makes sense. Like, I love the fact that it's got pictures, it tells you all the bits of the brain, it tells you kind of where your imagination comes from, and I think it really, really gives it a scientific kind of basis. As you know, I am kind of very practical, but I'm a mix of practical and I'm a mix of the woo-woo. I like nurturing this practical scientific side, but then also accepting that there are things that I can't kind of quantify, like how the heck does sometimes the tarot just know to bring out that card? You know, when you get that card and it punches you and it punches you in the gut, or you immediately go, oh my god, yes, that's the card of today, like, you've read my mind. How does it know? You know what I mean? So I embrace the kind of practical and the woo-woo. So I think this is a good book to nurture that kind of practical scientific side of tarot there, and kind of goes beyond. I would have picked kind of my open reading book, which I'm reading at the moment, but that's based on Marseille. So I wouldn't say, that's based on how to read the Marseille tradition. I wouldn't say that goes beyond tarot, because it's its system in itself, So the same with this book by L'Homme de Quête. Like, I am going to be reading this in September for my study, and yeah, it's got amazing stuff, but it's still on the Thoth system, if that makes sense. It doesn't really kind of go like one step beyond. And I'm trying to put all my books back without knocking my decks over, which is a challenge. If you could see this, everything's like held up and stacked up within an inch of its life. It's a complete mess, and I do need to do a before and after, like a before, this is my desk and how messy it is, and after, when it's been tidied. Anyway, right, so let's move on to the final question. The final question is a YouTuber that inspires your creativity. Now with this, there are so many YouTubers within the tarot community that inspire me, that inspire my creativity, that really kind of I love. You know what I mean? There are so many that I could list, and I think I did a video and I listed about 50 in one. But I'm not going to pick a tarot creator. I'm going to go down the route some other people have done as well, and I am going to pick a YouTuber from another kind of niche, and that is Amora Loves Yarn. Amora Loves Yarn is my comfort. She, when I'm feeling a bit overwhelmed or anything like that, I will go and watch an Amora Loves Yarn. I will watch her go around wool shows. I will watch her make she made a cardigan in 9 hours. She timed herself and stuff. She is a really big, bubbly personality, and I really enjoy watching her because she gets me pumped up. She gives that energy, and I always think, oh, I could make that, or I could make that, and she inspires me to. I am making a Loki cardigan ready for Doomsday. I've got to make it by Doomsday. And it's going to have tapestry down the back. And this was inspired by her Barbie cardigan that she made. So I've made my own Loki, or I'm making my own Loki version of it. So she really, really inspires me. I would love to list loads of tarot tubers because you are all amazing. You are all fantastic, and you do inspire me. I think you inspire me to buy decks. And that tag that Nyx did about enabling us to buy decks, that's maybe that's one I need to kind of do, because there's a few people that maybe enabled my deck buying habits. But yes, Amora Loves Yarn. I love just having something different. Obviously, like, tarot tube is a big part of my life. I watch tarot tube a lot. I make tarot tube. I love playing with my decks and everything, but sometimes you need to have a break. Sometimes if I'm in something so much and start getting overwhelmed, I feel like I need a break away from it in order to re-energize me and to come back. That's what I kind of think with that. So yeah, watching Amora Loves Yarn. So anybody who is into crochet, into kind of fibre art, she's mainly a crocheter, have a look. She is kind of great. Just type in Amora Loves Yarn and she'll pop up. She's blonde. She's from Newcastle. She's not from Newcastle, she's from around that area, but yeah, she's northern, so and she's a teacher as well, so I kind of identify with a lot of what she says there. Anyway, I will wrap this up because I've been chatting for far too long. So that is it for the Tarot Curiosities tag. Thank you, Nicole, a Cottage Witch, for creating this tag. I've really enjoyed doing it. I've enjoyed kind of embracing the deck parade of it all and bringing out some of my decks again, because I've not done kind of a lot of showing, like a tag where we're showing a lot of decks recently. I've been doing more of the thinky ones. I still need to do my tarot practice video. I have got that kind of there if anybody wants to see what I do in my diary and what I do like daily and weekly and things like that. Yeah, let us know. If you've enjoyed what you've seen, please drop us a like, a comment if you're feeling it, and if you haven't subscribed, please think about subscribing. About 50% of people who watch my videos don't subscribe, so it would be really lovely to me, because I am on the road to 500. I'm not on the road to Doomsday, but I've made it my mission that I'm going to try to get as close to 500 by December the 18th, which is Doomsday, as possible. So yes, so the last thing for me to do is to wish you an absolutely fantastic week and to say take care, my beautiful Moonbeams. See you later.